know what it is. Golden purple, golden purple, golden purple, golden purple. Yeah. Alright, Frost is the biz. Golden purple, golden purple, golden purple, golden purple. Yeah. Alright, you know what it is. Diamonds plus LA Lakers equals we win.
Man. Woo, Laker fan. What a nail biter. Welcome to the Lake Show. I'm Tony, man. Gonna get into the game recap, but man, a close one. Hey, if Heart Attack was a game, this would have been it against the Memphis Grizzlies, man. Close one. The Lakers win 121-118, man. They almost costed themselves the game. Kent Bazemore with a bonehead foul and Ja Morant. Luckily, Ja Morant missed that third free throw, to extend the game into overtime. So, fortunately, the Lakers were able to win this game, man. And it's good to finally get in the W column. Thank goodness, because a lot of fans are going crazy, man. The Lakers look great on paper. But with 9 new players, a new offensive and defensive schemes or schematics, rather, it's going to take time, Laker fam. We have to exercise discernment and patience with this team. With Miami Heat, I believe, in the first year or the second year, LeBron James and the Miami Heat, they were 9-8. They lost quite a lot of games, and they still were able to get to the finals. So I believe that we're probably going to go through a similar aspect with this team, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, welcome to the Lake Show. I'm Tony. We're going to get into the game recap. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. First quarter, the Lakers started off having trouble with Ja Morant's dribble penetration. I think he had 8 points to end the quarter. But, man, he really did a good job commanding this game today. 40-10 for Ja Morant. What a special player. So fun to watch, man. The league is in great shape once LeBron James and players before him, Hall of Famers, retire and move out of the league. The league is going to be in great shape. They have him, of course, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, fun players to watch, man. But I just love this kid's composure. I love this kid's poise. I love how he balances passing and scoring, his leadership as well, and his fire and competitive nature, man. It's fun to watch. The Grizzlies have a hell of a talent in Ja Morant, who's probably going to win an MVP and probably going to be a top 5 player overall in the league, probably in the next 3 to 4 years, maybe sooner. Who knows? We'll see. But the Lakers were down as much as 6 to 8 points in the quarter. They went on a 22-7 run once Carmelo got in, Austin Reeves. And speaking of Austin Reeves, man, I like the fact of how Coach Vogel's getting him earlier in, and not only that, getting him with the vets and AD, Bron, and Russ is going to allow him to get valuable minutes, learn from them, be a sponge, and mature into a fine young player and a future good role player for the Lakers for years to come. I think he's going to approximate what Alex Caruso brought. I think he might even supersede him because he's able to offer more. So we'll see how that goes. But the kid just plays composed. Since Summer League up till now, man, preseason, he has done the right things, intangible, sliding his feet, fighting screens, making the right reads, and, hitting open shots, things of that nature. Austin Reeves, man, is going to be a pretty solid pro for the Lakers, and I love this kid. I think he should get more tick. I think he should be put in with the vets as he was. It just shows the confidence that Frank Vogel has within this kid. But AD and Carmelo Anthony, led the Lakers into the second quarter with a lead up by 5:30 to 25 or so. AD went on a little run, started to get his rhythm. And then Carmelo Anthony coming off the bench, man. Instant offense. What a game for Carmelo Anthony. Lakers go up into the second quarter up by 5, I believe, 30 to 25. AD with 10 points to end the quarter. Ja Morant with 8 points or so. LeBron James, he has to. LeBron James, man. He has to stop overcommitting and then getting lost on defense. Then putting his hands up and things of that nature. Then looking around, blaming his teammates for missed defensive assignments. He's been doing that since preseason all the way up to now. Just take personal responsibility, bro, and get better on defense, man. It's so fucking annoying when LeBron James does that. It's like, dude, you're a great player, but you're not exempt from being criticized. You're not exempt from playing fucking defense. Just play better defense. Period. Just get better, brother. I like how Russell Westbrook was reading angles within this game, particularly in the first half of basketball, man. Thought he did a good job reading assists, finding AD, DJ for lob targets and dump off passes within, the paint off of dribble penetration. And that was largely due to him not playing 100 miles per hour. Russ has to, play to the tempo, let things come to him. Much better job he did in the first quarter, in the first half, distributing the ball. He had like 7 dimes or so. and didn't score within the first half, but it was his mentality, and not only that, just adjusting. It's going to take him time, Laker fam, to know his teammates where they like, where the spots are, where they like the ball, things of that nature, and knowing when to score and a pass. So, it's going to take him time. We're going to see growing pains with Russell Westbrook turning over the ball as we did later on within this game. But I thought he did a pretty solid job. He was able to read pick and roll a lot better in defensive coverage by the Grizzlies on him. And you got to take what the defense gives you, and he did a good job doing that. Knowing when to push the ball, finding rim targets, because DJ and Dwight Howard, AD, they're always going to be rim targets. So he did a solid job with 7 dimes within the first quarter. Lakers go up 30-25 of 5 into the second quarter. In the second quarter, and I like the fact that Austin Reeves was in this game early, especially on. It just shows the confidence that Frank Vogel has within in him, and the fact that he had a nice left-handed pass, I think, to Dwight Howard, man. That just exemplifies the fact of how poised this kid is, how composed this kid is, and his intangibles. I just like how he plays the game of basketball. Had a nice left-handed pass to Dwight Howard for a great steal bucket. The kid is going to be a solid player, such a natural. Reeves might replace, like I said, Alex Caruso. I think he's going to be better. Mark my words, Laker fam. I think he's going to be better. I would argue that he's already off to a great start, so we'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. But, Lakers start off the second well with the Carmelo Anthony three-point shot. And was, out in the fast break early, to get points more. So I think 13-5 or so, they were beating the Memphis Grizzlies in transition, the younger team. So that's how they were able to, stay up within this game quite a lot. Fortunately, anywhere from 6 to 8 points, they were able to stay up. And it was largely due to them playing defense and getting out in the break. So good job by the Lakers. They got to do a better job defending consistently. But Reeves had also a nice defensive play to force a turnover at the 7-minute mark or so, partially blocking, I believe, DeAnthony Melton or so from behind, which forced him in midair to, cause a turnover. And then the ball by Russ was tipped to Austin Reeves, and Reeves had, a layup. So that starts off by playing solid defense. Like I said, the kid fights, he plays hard, and that's all you can ask from any player. I thought Desmond Bane, who had 12 points, I believe, to end the first half, I thought he did a pretty solid job keeping the Memphis Grizzlies within this game. Most of his scoring came via the second quarter. Like I said, he kept the Grizzlies alive in the second quarter to decrease the 10 to 11 point deficit they had in the second quarter. The Lakers were doing a poor job containing him on the perimeter, things of that nature. They stopped closing out on shooters and making the extra effort on the defensive end, after scoring and things of that nature. So, and then Ja Morant started to cook, Bays a little later on in the game. Overall, he cooked Bays. I mean, you can't stop a great offensive player in Ja Morant. It takes a team effort. So, but he had 2 triples around the 3+ minute mark or so on Bazemore. And then Russ, I think, scored 9 straight points around the late 2+ minute mark or so. Like I said, he did a good job finding his teammates earlier on within the game, and then he got confident, and that comes all in result of playing the game the right way, not playing sped up, playing to look for your teammates, and things are going to come to you naturally. Things come to the aggressor. So I thought Russ had a pretty solid, good first half of basketball. Russ was getting to the rim off of dribble penetration effectively in the first half of basketball, man. He was able to hit his mid-range jump shot, a 3-point shot. He was taking what the defense was giving him because of the fact that they were sagging off him, due to the fact that, his ability to slash and get to the rim, man. He's so fast. So the fact that he was able to play good in terms of assisting and not turning over the ball in the first quarter is what drove his confidence and allowed him to hit some shots. And I think he ended the first half of basketball with 9 points and 10 assists already. Was already on par to get a double-double up to the point of this game. Like I said, he was getting his teammates involved, playing to the dictates of the defense. And that's how he has to play, man. Not sped up all the time. Take what the defense gives you. So, and he did a good job. So, solid job by Russ, and that's how he has to play from here on out. But the main key for the Lakers up to this point within the game, within the first half of basketball, was the fact that they were, getting more points in the paint against the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. That area wasn't even prevalent. They got their asses handed to them. The Lakers are a bigger team, so they have to be able to play to their strengths, and they were doing that within the first half of basketball. I believe they had 38-26 points in the paint. They were able to get stops, get out on the break, use their speed, push pace, and get to the rim. Like I said, that's where the Lakers need to play, man. They need to live on defense and getting stops and getting out in a break, and they did a pretty solid job doing that within the first half. The Lakers did a much better job defensively in the first half of basketball, and I would say overall in this game, they held the Grizzlies to, I believe, 44% shooting from the field, and they shot 55% from the field, and that was because of the fact that they were playing much better defense, which was non-existent in the last games, particularly against the Suns, man. They deserve to get their asses handed to them, and I hope, obviously, that drove them clearly. So, and I hope they build off of this momentum. But AD and Melo, man, leading the Lakers in scoring going into the second half. I believe 13 points for AD, 10 points for Carmelo Anthony, man, off the bench. Hell of a night for Carmelo Anthony. We'll talk about him. Instant offense. Just get in the rock, man. You know that's a bucket. John Morant with 17 points. Desmond Bane with 12 points for the Grizzlies, respectively. Lakers go up into the second half. Up 62-56, and then one of the main differences I spoke about, Laker fam, and that was on my collab video with Dime Dropper. Shout out to Dime Dropper, by the way. Check his channel out. Knowledgeable basketball fan, man. Always has good content. Subscribe, definitely. You will not be disappointed in Dime Dropper. One of my favorite YouTubers, and I was glad to do the collab, so I appreciate you, bro. But you know, I spoke about it in the a collab vid with Dime Dropper on the Lakers 2021-22 season preview. Check it out if you guys haven't. The link to that video will be in the end card and probably by the end of this video or within the video, so definitely watch out for that. Highly recommend checking out. I talked about how LeBron James is going to have to sacrifice more. He has to be the one to sacrifice the most out of anybody in this team, being the fact that he's the greater player in this team and the leader. It's going to allow Russell Westbrook to be empowered because LeBron James has more to offer as a player than Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook rather isn't as impactful as LeBron James. So LeBron James, in my opinion, should go, like I talked about in the preview with Dime, is that he should go to how he played with Miami in his second year, which was arguably his greatest statistical year and greatest efficient year overall as a pro. He was playing defense due to the fact that he was able to conserve his energy, allowed Dwayne Wade to handle the ball, play more in the post play, off the ball, cut, use his ability. Russell Westbrook has to be empowered so he doesn't come in thinking, damn, I have to capitulate, and that's going to be too much for his mind. He's already trying to gel with his teammates, so that's going to be something extra that's going to be eliminated from his mind, allowing him to focus on the game, being himself, and that's going to be the most important thing, and that's going to allow the Lakers to operate at peak efficiency. So LeBron James has to be able to sacrifice more, and he did that in the first half. I believe had 6 points, and Russ was handling the ball more, getting into earlier offense. So that's why it was able to work, and they have to go to that, review the film, point out those things with the coaching staff, and allow Russell Westbrook to be himself so that he's able to, be the best player he can be, the best version of himself on this team. Ball third quarter, Anthony Davis, man, had a nice block on DeAnthony Melton at the 10-plus minute mark or so. And that was prior to the Grizzlies going on a 9-2 run, I believe. Taking the lead in the AD, reclaimed the lead with a three-point shot of his own, 67-65. And DeAndre Jordan, Laker fam, he's been agitating to watch, via similar to Andre Drummond, but I would say he's an upgrade. Hopefully, I'm gonna temper that, but he's just been poor on defense, not rebounding the ball, been lazy in terms of retreating to the paint, not hedging on pick and roll. He did a poor job on Steven Adams this game and switching way too much, which allowed Steven Adams to get a lot of offensive rebounds, outwork DJ. Man, I wish Dwight Howard would start. I get it. He's going to play the JaVale McGee type of role in terms of DJ, plus the fact that they probably promised him a role coming from, the Brooklyn Nets via buyout. They probably promised him a starting role, so I get it. But obviously this team would be a lot better with Dwight Howard starting at center, better defensively, et cetera, et cetera. It is what it is. DJ did a decent job protecting the rim a little bit, but he did a poor job keeping the body on Steven Adams and rotating, helping him recover and things of that nature, because the Memphis Grizzlies had 17 offensive rebounds, or 18, I believe. So the Lakers got to do a better job, containing the boards after missed shots, man. And then Carmelo Anthony, hell of a game, man. Hell of a game. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony. Past Moses Malone, I believe. He is now 9th all-time in the scoring list with 27,410 points. So shout out to Carmelo Anthony. Hell of a game, man. Main catalyst for the Lakers winning this game, but we'll talk more about that later. Melo coming off the bench has been instant offense, and this is why a lot of people wanted him. I get it. He brings instant offense, but my concern, of course, wasn't the shot selection, rather. And the fact that he will stop the ball, but he's been tremendous and playing within the flow of the game, things of that nature, and providing a scoring lift when we needed him the most. But Melo's a professional bucket getter, man. He's gonna get his buckets. And like I said, 9th all-time on the scoring list now. Congratulations to Carmelo Anthony passing Moses Malone. 9th all-time on the scoring list with 27,410 points. For sure, Hall of Famer. I disagree with him making the top 75 basketball list of greatest players. It is what it is, but I'm not going to get into that. But, obviously a Hall of Famer to be, and hopefully we can get him a ring. Good to see Carmelo Anthony finally in purple and gold and making history. But I thought the Lakers, they were focusing too much on the referees, man. You're not going to change the mind of the refs during live action. You're just not. So don't play the refs, play the game, put your energy in the game where it matters. And I thought the Lakers did a poor job, maintaining their composure. They've done that in preseason. They've done that, versus the Suns. They showed very, very bad composure. And the whole thing with, with Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard, I'm not going to really focus too much on that, but it's just two guys, having a disagreement. I think Magic Johnson and people like that, the media are going to hype it up, but it's just guys that showing that they care a lot, and that, there's going to be disagreements, and, they talked about it. They squashed the beef like men, like they said, and, it's going to happen, but it's going to create a brotherhood. Having that much adversity, it's always going to create a brother. So I'm not tripping on that, Laker fan, to be honest with you guys. Laker fan, I don't mind AD trying to step into the leadership role. He probably could have gone about it differently, not putting his hands on Dwight Howard, not getting so close. But, it looked like to me that he put his hands on him and he lost his balance. I don't think he pushed him or meant to push him. But the point is the intent is in the right place of Anthony Davis because he values Dwight Howard, rather, his defensive prowess, his ability to stay with guards on the perimeter, his ability to help him recover, and cover a lot of ground on the defensive end. So he's trying to push him to be the best version of himself again, like he was in 2020. That should be a compliment to Dwight Howard. He shouldn't take it to offense. So I enjoy this adversity. I enjoy guys challenging one another. That shows that they care. It's only going to create a stronger bond, towards their quest to get an NBA championship. So I'm okay with it. But getting back to the game, John Morant had 10 points in the third quarter. The kid is special, Laker fan. He's special. Memphis Grizzlies fans, man, should be happy that this kid is on their team, man, because he's going to be likely a future MVP or in the running, a top 5 player, and bring them much success, man. The kid is going to be fun to watch for many years. Like I said, the NBA is in a great place with him, and young emerging talent, man, and a young emerging superstar in John Morant. But he had a nice layup, man. A nice acrobatic layup in the third quarter, man. Up and under move, little bit of English to the finger roll. Kid is special, man. Lakers needed to do a better job, though, on pick and roll defense, man, with John Morant. They did a poor job showing, hedging, helping him recover. DJ, like I said, being the main guy, switching onto him. That's not the way how the Lakers should be playing. That's like what Luke Walton did a lot. I hate the switching philosophy. I'm not a proponent of it at all. I'm a proponent of guys like Avery Bradley crowding the dribbler space, not allowing guys to get comfortable, come off a pick and roll. I would prefer guys to crowd their space, making it tough, riding on their hip or shoulder, making it tough for them, feeling that resistance, because if they're just coming off a pick and roll, easily getting to the mid-range or to the rim, man, or, switching on the big, and the big is going to give them space because they're scared of their foot speed. The Lakers have to make guards, uncomfortable as much as possible and ball pressure, or the perimeter players have to do a better job of doing that, and they did a poor job with John Morant, and that's why he was able to go off for 40 and 10 tonight. But the Grizzlies, like I said, fought hard behind John Morant, to get the lead going into the fourth quarter, up, 90-87. What changed for the Memphis Grizzlies was their ability to get into the paint. I believe they scored 26 points in the paint, which was the difference for them in the third quarter and why they went up in the fourth quarter with the lead. But speaking of the fourth quarter, LBJ starts off with a 3 on the Dwight Howard pick and roll. 90-90 at that time. And then Carmelo fucking Anthony, man. Carmelo Anthony, that boy was on fuego, Laker fam. That boy, man, you stand close to him, you might get burnt. The defenders got burnt. Carmelo Anthony was hitting everything he took. Everything. So shout out to Carmelo Anthony, man. He's becoming the much needed scorer off the bench, that scoring punch that the Lakers need. Melo up to 24 points at the 9-minute mark. Lakers up 6 points. 100-94, man. That was like the best point of the game when Carmelo was getting, his groove on. Lakers are playing defense, getting out on the break, and then they're getting early offense, feeding the hot hand. But Grizzlies staying in the game, though, had 17 or so offensive rebounds. Like I said earlier, that's way too much. They got to do a better job, Lakers, controlling the glass. Melton hit some key shots as well. Steven Adams, has some key offensive rebounds for them, getting those second chance points, allowing the Memphis Grizzlies to stay in this game, which reduced the deficit, I believe, to 4 points, 106-1 02 at the time. I don't know why Frank Vogel, man. I don't know why he took out Carmelo Anthony, who had the hot hand once again. He was the main reason, or so the main key to the Lakers winning this game and overall getting that lead. Going up 6 or so and giving them that momentum. And LeBron James, man, once again dribbling out the shot clock. I don't know what the hell he was doing. The ball should have not been in LeBron James' hand. It should have been in Carmelo Anthony. And as a ball handler, LeBron James' job is to get his players, his teammates involved and get the ball to the hot hand, which was Carmelo Anthony in this case. And that's why they were struggling offensively, man. The Lakers were taking contested shots late in the shot clock because LeBron James was trying to get that switch on the big. He likes to do that guard-to-guard screen or have a guard come up and screen or again get that switch with a smaller player on him or a bigger player on him where he's going to go past the bigger player and, drive and dish. That's what he's going to do, or step back, three-point shot, things of that nature. That's not always going to work. He has to have some nuance. Not only that, in this case, it was just kind of obvious. Feed, the hot hand, which was Carmelo Anthony. And that's why they were able to come back in this game because they weren't going to the hot hand. And not only that, they were taking poor shots and taking them late in the shot clock, which allowed, the Memphis Grizzlies to get out on the break. And that's what they did. They seen that they were shooting late in the shot clock, and then they leaked out, and they got some easy buckets. And that's how they were able to come back in this game because of the fact that LeBron James did a poor job managing the game as a point guard, not getting Carmelo Anthony the ball in the hot hand. Man, good job by Anthony Davis reading that out-of-bounds pass. But credit to LBJ, though. I mean, he kind of made up for, his poor in-game management, handling the ball down the stretch in clutch moments. He was pressuring the out-of-bounds passer to throw the ball more up so that it would travel more and allow AD to get that steal, which, sealed the game for the Lakers. But active hands by LBJ did a good job forcing that turnover, and Anthony Davis was able to, to get the steal. So he did a pretty good job. But Bazemore, man, why reach? If John Morant's going to make that three-point shot, then let him make the three-point shot. Hey, good defense, better offense. Tip your hat to him. It is what it is, but don't reach, man. And especially in the clutch moments. Don't reach. Don't put him at the line. Luckily, John Morant was able to miss that third free throw because, it would have extended the game. And possibly, the Grizzlies with that momentum could have won the game going into OT. So good thing that John Morant was able to miss that shot. But the boy had 40 and 10, man. That boy is a killer, man. Regardless, it's going to be a learning experience for him. He's a young player, but he's off to a great start going into superstardom. So shout out to Ja Morant, man. 40 and 10, killed the Lakers, but fortunately the Lakers were able to hold him off and get the win. Ja Morant, though, man, he has the it factor, like I said earlier. He's going to be special for many years to come. He's had it since he came into the league, and that's what separates him from some of the other younger players in his contemporaries. But man, I think you guys are probably a few vets away, similar to Iguodala types that have, playoff experience or championship experience that can come in, kind of help temper the team, help foster growth more, prevent them from making mistakes within the clutch, things of that nature. They're young and hungry, but they need those vets to kind of steer them in the right direction. I think you guys are probably 2 to 3 years away from being a really serious team in the West, but you guys have every reason to be excited, man. With Jackson, Melton, Brooks, etc., and obviously John Morant. You guys have a solid future ahead of you guys. So shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies fans, whoever watches this video. You guys have every right to be excited about your future. And I look forward to the growth of the Memphis Grizzlies behind their young core. So it's going to be exciting to see. But anyway, let's get to the player stats. Carmelo Anthony, the high man for the game, with 28 points, 2 blocks, and an efficient night from the field, 10 15 from the field. I think it's time for the Lakers to go towards Carmelo Anthony and probably Malik Monk, who have shown more offensive explosion and potency than Anthony Davis and LeBron James within the clutch because they played good for 3 quarters or so, but then they've been flaming out in the 4 quarters. So I think it's at this point and go to what's been working, which is Carmelo Anthony and Malik Monk. And we don't even have our full bench back. THT, K Nunn, Ellington, they're all out. So I think the Lakers are going to be a top 5 bench in the league. I'm excited about what I'm seeing thus far from Malik Monk and Carmelo Anthony. And, this is why people wanted Carmelo Anthony on the Lakers, because if the Lakers can defend, they'll be fine. But as long as they're not playing Rajon Rondo and Russell Westbrook and, putting them on the floor at the same time, that's that's really bad, man. That didn't do good for us. Frank Vogel has to have the rotations down, so it's good to see Carmelo Anthony and Malik Monk, have their groove. And once Kate Nunn and Ellington and THC come back, man, it's only going to make the Lakers stronger. So this is a good thing for the Lakers right now. But LBJ with 22 points, 4 blocks, 8 rebounds. He's got to get into the offensive faster, man. He did a poor job of managing the game towards the end, down the stretch, clutch moments of the game. Should have got Carmelo Anthony the ball, not dribbling out the shot clock. He's got to do a better job getting into offensive faster and getting the ball in the hands of the player who's hot. In this case, it was Carmelo Anthony. He did a poor job doing that. So he's got to get better. But AD with 19 points, 4 turnovers rather. He's got to do a better job reading and reacting faster, seeing double teams come from his blind side, things of that nature. Anthony Davis, has to go into offense faster. He's got to stop fading away and got to get to the rim more. He's still doing that, not being heavily dependent on his jump shot because he's not an efficient enough shooter. The teams are going to invite him to shoot more. He's settling. He shouldn't be settling. He's too talented to do that. So he's got to get better with that. Russell Westbrook with 13 points, 13 assists, 9 turnovers. Yikes. Woof. Did a good job, though, in the first half, man. Shout out to Russell Westbrook. But 4 steals, 7 rebounds. Russ was, doing great, like I said, in the first half, distributing the ball, playing, not as fast, but come the second half, and particularly down the stretch of the game, he was playing too sped up, trying to force things. Once again, he has to relax and let the game come to him and dictate his passing and scoring off of how the defense is playing him. But nevertheless, I was encouraged by how Russell Westbrook played in the beginning of this game in the first half. I think he had, 9 or 10 assists. And that's, like I said earlier, because of the fact that he was able to play at a slower pace. Took what the defense gave him, read angles on pick and roll, got to the rim when he needed to, didn't force things. And unfortunately, he did that in the second half. And also, he's got to stop taking that bank shot earlier within the possession. Once the Lakers get a defensive stop, he would go down 4 to 6 seconds. Later he goes down instead of moving the ball to take that shot. He's stalling out his teammates, disrupting the offensive cohesiveness. He's got to move the ball around more and get a better shot than that. If he's feeling himself and he's a little streak, then fine. But most of the time he's not. So he's got to do a better job with that. Malik Monk, 12 points, 4 assists, was a catalyst along with Melo, to help Lakers get this win over the Grizz. So shout out to him. Let's get to the team stats. Lakers allowed 18 offensive rebounds. Can't do that. And that's what allowed the Memphis Grizzlies to stay in this game, man. And they almost won. So the Lakers have to do a better job of, crashing the glass. They did a poor job on switching, DJ onto Smalls and then having guys like Austin Reeves get eaten up alive by Steven Adams. If they're going to do that, then they have to have their perimeter players like Kent Bazemore, LeBron James, etc., help crash. They have to do that in order to put more pressure on Steven Adams. So because most of the time he's going to get the ball over 6'6" or 6'5". Austin Reeves, and the fact that he's giving up about 40 pounds. If you have 2 other guys coming in to help or tip, from behind or whatever to prevent Steven Adams from getting an offensive rebound or foul, then that's going to help a lot. But I'm not a proponent of switch defense, so the Lakers have to do a better job. If they're going to switch, they have to crash the boards as a team. And I was encouraged by how Russell Westbrook played in the beginning of this game in the first half. I think he had, 9 or 10 assists. And that's, like I said earlier, because of the fact that he was able to play at a slower pace. Took what the defense gave him, read angles on pick and roll, got to the rim when he needed to, didn't force things. And unfortunately, he did that in the second half. And also, he's got to stop taking that bank shot earlier within the possession. Once the Lakers get a defensive stop, he would go down 4 to 6 seconds. Later he goes down instead of moving the ball to take that shot. He's stalling out his teammates, disrupting the offensive cohesiveness. He's got to move the ball around more and get a better shot than that. If he's feeling himself and he's a little streak, then fine. But most of the time he's not. So he's got to do a better job with that. Malik Monk, 12 points, 4 assists, was a catalyst along with Melo, to help Lakers get this win over the Grizz. So shout out to him. Let's get to the team stats. Lakers allowed 18 offensive rebounds. Can't do that. And that's what allowed the Memphis Grizzlies to stay in this game, man. And they almost won. So the Lakers have to do a better job of, crashing the glass. They did a poor job on switching, DJ onto smalls and then having guys like Austin Reeves get eaten up alive by Steven Adams. If they're going to do that, then they have to have their perimeter players like Kent Bazemore, LeBron James, etc. Help crash. They have to do that in order to put more pressure on Steven Adams. So because most of the time he's going to get the ball over 6'6" or 6'5". Austin Reeves, and the fact that he's giving up about 40 pounds. If you have two other guys coming in to help or tip, from behind or whatever to prevent Steven Adams from getting an offensive rebound or foul, then that's going to help a lot. But I'm not a proponent of switch defense, so the Lakers have to do a better job. If they're going to switch, they have to crash the boards as a team. All right, Laker fam, it's a wrap for the game recap. I'll probably be dropping some more game recaps every now and then, along with some scouting short clips of live action, kind of giving my thoughts on that. And then I think Dime Dropper mentioned that he may have more reviews of the Lakers, and then guesses on from opposing teams to kind of review, give their thoughts about the game, have them on. So those snippets that I'm a part of, if I'm able to get on Dime Dropper again, I'll upload them to the channel just like I did with the Lakers 2021-22 season preview that I did with Dime. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, the next 6 games are winnable up until I think we play against Portland. So hopefully that goes well. We have that momentum, so we should be winning up to the next 6 games or so, or 5 games until we play Portland. So we'll carry that momentum on. Hopefully the Lakers are able to, take advantage as they should. Anyway, comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'm Tony on the Lake Show Podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. All right, Laker fam, it's a wrap for the game recap. I'll probably be dropping some more game recaps every now and then, along with some scouting short clips of live action, kind of giving my thoughts on that. And then I think Dime Dropper mentioned that he may have more reviews of the Lakers, and then guesses on from opposing teams to kind of review, give their thoughts about the game, have them on. So those snippets that I'm a part of, if I'm able to get on Dime Dropper again, I'll upload them to the channel just like I did with the Lakers 2021-22 season preview that I did with Dime. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, the next 6 games are winnable up until I think we play against Portland. So hopefully that goes well. We have that momentum, so we should be winning up to the next 6 games or so, or 5 games until we play Portland. So we'll carry that momentum on. Hopefully the Lakers are able to, take advantage as they should. Anyway, comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'm Tony on the Lake Show Podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
You know what it is. Golden purple, golden purple, golden purple, golden purple. Stream. False is the big. Golden purple, golden purple, golden purple, golden purple. Yeah. You know what it is. Diamonds plus LA Lakers equals we win.